Greetings, everyone. We are having these conversations under the banner of Alma Aspires, our strategic plan for the Alma community. And I'm delighted for the opportunity to talk to Jim Wheeler. Jim is the president of Greater Gratiot Development. He's been there since 2016, and all of us in the Alma community know Jim as well from his former role as bank president of Mercantile Bank here in Alma. Jim's been a longtime advocate for economic development in Gratiot County. He's a member of the Alma Industrial Development Group, and he served on the Greater Gratiot board for 18 years prior to becoming its president. Jim, thanks for taking the time. You've been such a great guide to me and all the work we've done at Alma College, especially in the work with the downtown. How are you and Sue doing in this crisis we face?
Oh, we're doing well. It's been one, obviously, that none of us have faced anything like this that anybody's remember can be, but really it's working out, and you just thank goodness the weather's getting better, and it's at least we can get out and get a little fresh air. It's made it really much better.
Absolutely. I think, we see the anxiousness everyone feels to get out, to be out there. Certainly the bike trail was packed this past weekend. Beautiful days here in Gratiot County. How are we going to avoid complacency at a time when there's some risk to getting out?
I think we're being given some really good guidance about how we can get out. Social distancing. People are getting used to face masks. In my former life, if somebody ever came in the bank with a face mask, we called the police immediately. And now you have to get used. Now you have to get used to it. That you see people in masks. It helps protect us from that going forward. Simple things, still washing your hands and doing just some basic common sense things, I think will carry us a long ways. And we're fortunate enough, like I said before, to be getting into better weather, so it's a lot nicer to get outside. It's much easier to social distance from outside than it is inside. So, a lot of, I think, those things happening. And sort of the next steps, what we're looking at is, how we come back from this. And it appears that, through all the recommendations, it will be a gradual startup. It's already started. Some businesses have been now allowed to come back. We have construction starting up this week. The next big thing that we really are posed right now is going to be our manufacturing base. That's a much more difficult startup. Many of our manufacturers, because of their being named critical manufacturers, have already been working through this. So they've already been dealing with the PPE equipment, how they socialize, and most of them that I talk with, Jeff, it's been more trouble again on the social things. It's not while they're out on the factory floor. It's break rooms, it's lunchtime, it's how you enter a building, all these type of things. But it's coming along, and the thing about our manufacturing base that we have here, for both those that are going and those that are hoping to start up, is it's an integrated system. And what I mean by that, Jeff, is that we talk about maybe starting our state by regions, but those regions don't align necessarily with supply chains. And supply chains run way beyond county levels, beyond regions, beyond the state, other states, and international. So it's tie bar and all those. I kind of laughed at somebody. I said the other day, you won't take delivery of a car and have them say, we'll bring you your steering wheel in a couple of weeks. So it really is, it's a big tie to put all these things together. So there will be a lot of work and coordinated efforts needed to bring these companies back.
Right. Jim, this is the work you all do every single day, and looking back decades, Greater Gratiot has been absolutely essential to growth in this county, to attracting manufacturers, businesses of all sorts, retailers to opening. How does that work continue in this environment, and how do you see us, getting back to the momentum we've had in our small communities? I'm thinking of Alma, but all the communities across Gratiot in the days ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be a real challenge, especially our smaller retailers who've now been down quite a bit. I know some of the restaurants have done takeout things. There's been some creative ways to try to work through it. Others just had to close, hunker down, wait for this to lift and come full circle to become around, Jeff. But I do see some positive with it. There's been some real unfortunate situations that we see, but there's also been, a lot of stimulus dollars put into our markets now. People that have lost jobs have had unemployment. There's been some backup unemployment insurance paid to them. There's been some stimulus dollars paid to them. So I think there's some dollars that are pent up that people will be able to use, and hopefully we can emphasize on our people that, spend them locally. Remember our local merchants as they come on. Ordering takeout food from some of our restaurants helps keep them going. So, think of those as we do move forward. But I think the biggest thing we probably will all of us have to overcome is the psyche now of being afraid to go back out. And and some of those will take some creative thoughts, I think. We've talked about how, maybe more seating outside for restaurants that, will allow a little more open air, be able to still spread us out, but be able to make contact with each other as we go forward. So it'll be a general rollout. And I've seen some people that have, and it's like anybody, it's human nature. Some have more fear, afraid, a little more concerned about it. Others a little bit less along those lines of it. And so it'll be a mixture that we'll have to deal with as we roll back out. But I think it'll happen. And the more comfort level we get with people, the more that will happen going forward.
Well, it's exciting to see the businesses that have invested in recent months and years in the county, and this challenge is enormous for them, for everyone in the county, as for communities everywhere. You've been absolutely essential to the development of this Alma Aspires document, this strategic plan that we've developed. You've been key architect of that planning work and really driving it forward. Can you talk about that work a little bit and how you see that re-engaging as we come out of this challenge?
I think it was. I think we took a hard look at what are good things that we have going for us in the community, and then what are some things that we need to add on. And a lot of the add-on things have started already to happen, and unfortunately shut down sort of in the middle of us going forward with it. I took a walk through town last night and told my wife, I said, this reminds me of 5 years ago in town. Very few cars down there, and that were, even in February of this year when it wasn't very good weather, our downtown was full of cars on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So but I think some of that will come back, Jeff. We've got the bones of it. What the college did with the Opera House, that main block down there, was just outstanding. That's the anchor that we needed to have the downtown to build around. So we have that. We have some other places that have come together, the brewery company, number of restaurants that are starting to happen. And then we're starting to see these other little pieces that are falling in, people wanting to open a shop, do something of that to build that model in our downtown, which I think is really big. And that's spread across not only in just Alma, but other communities also. But Alma's been the big focus of this. And, in long term, the one thing I will say about us is I think this has opened up people. You and I are doing this virtually. If we were doing this 2 months ago, I'd have been sitting in your office, or you'd have come over here and we'd have done it face to face, not remotely in any stretch. I think we're all finding we can do things remotely. The other thing, this morning I was watching CNBC, and the former head of Ford Motor was talking about, and he said, well, what's your comfort level, do you think, for people wanting to get on a plane, a bus, or a train right now? Or would they rather get in their own automobile? So, we've taken a look of saying, I think a lot of us were envy of mass transit things that other, the large communities had these ways of mass transit, how they could get people back and forth. All of a sudden, that may have taken a huge change to a different direction. And Michigan could be highlighted in that. We still build a lot of automobiles in this state. Detroit, for one, is is the one city that's their knock has been lack of having public transportation, but they also have parking availability. So, as we start looking at cars, electrified automobiles, cars now that get much better gas mileage, and some of those, I think now we can show quality of life to people where I can still get in my car, the safety and soundness of that, go somewhere, then get out with other people versus having to ride in mass transit situations, really could be a huge changer for us. We do understand and really need to know the internet's still the secret. We've talked about it, getting fiber, getting proper internet. We're seeing that now in our schools. How do you learn? You're learning that that's firsthand.
Sure.
An Alma education, the quality, the hand, and when your big pitch is low class size professors that but still be able to do that remotely in other places. And I think it can add some real opportunities, but give quality of life back to these smaller institutions and smaller communities where you get the smallness, the quiet, you can still separate yourselves, but you can also be together very well.
Fascinating to think about the advantages we might have as a community as we come out of this. We all who live in Alma and Gratiot County know, the blessings of this place, but more will no doubt be attracted to these places, following these events.
Yeah.
Jim, that we've had so many successes through the years that Greater Gratiot has driven, and you mentioned the Opera House. You were the chief guide for me, certainly through the 10 years to get that project done. I can't recall how many times I stopped in your office when you're here in town, or gave you a call since you've been at Greater Gratiot, just to get your take and get your guidance, and so grateful to you. But I know that personally from that project, but now I see you working on so many other important projects. Can you talk a little bit about this incredible success that is ZFS, what that project, how that project was achieved, and what you see on the horizon for us?
The ZFS project is our Zealand Farm Services, which we were able to instrumental in putting together a large soybean processing plant located down just outside of Ithaca, which is really Gratiot County's first real move into ag processing. We do have some of it also at MAC, which is Michigan Agricultural Commodities, which is located in Breckenridge and Middleton. So we have two big operations there, but ZFS was a really huge one for us to do soybean processing that we've had here. We've had a big experience in renewable energy. Anybody that comes through our county sees the wind projects that we've had. Now a lot of it's facing and focusing towards solar, but same type of situation. So a big renewable energy push that we've had going forward. A real diverse manufacturing base, which has been really good and key to our area. We have chemical-based manufacturing, we have aerospace, defense, just a number of different types of businesses, and then businesses that support those businesses that are in our county. So that's made it a really big thing. And then along with, I always consider the big three, Alma College, the Michigan Masonic Home, and in Mid-Michigan's commitment for their hospital that we have here are really, big public entity, more supportive type companies that are, larger and long-term that help anchor our market. So it's a real diverse economy. It's been, we've built it this way. And now our big attraction piece is getting people to come and look at our area. And like I say, I think if they're, you have to look for silver clouds out of anything that happens like this. No, obviously none of us would ever, hopefully we ever go through anything like this again, but there'll be a lot of lessons learned and things that we need to do. But like I say, we can still now, with the businesses and the diversification that we've had, hope to really come on to an attraction basis for all of us to go forward and succeed and really add to the quality of life that we have in these more rural areas. So it's exciting. It'll way outlive me, I know that, but I think the foundations that we start building now will really go forward with us. But our Alma Aspires is really, this is something that's just rolling off of that, and I think will continue to push us to the downtown. There'll probably be some more ways to get some more dollars to people, some grant dollars, some support dollars that we can help hopefully leverage that into some, additional businesses that will want to start up and get going downtown.
That's exciting to see. Yeah, certainly these years have brought so much investment in the county. And you mentioned the turbines. I drove in last night, and to see those lights flashing every time I see them, I just take great pride in Gratiot County and what we've achieved together. And we've achieved that through the hard work of Greater Gratiot and through your leadership, Jim. We're so grateful to you for all you do for Gratiot County.
Yeah.
Well, it's an exciting time ahead. We're going to get through this crisis, we know, and we will with the hard work of leaders like you. Jim Wheeler, thanks for taking this time today.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me here.
Be safe and take care.